So we're, Rebecca and I are here at the Ark because we have been attending the National Homeschool Leadership Conferences this last week. And one of the perks, the field trips that we got to do is go to the here in Kentucky, the Ark exhibit, Ark Encounter. And so we're really excited to be able to be here as part of that. And it's been a really great experience.
It has. I think you should show everybody the Ark.
Oh, sounds great. Yeah. Well, hold on to your stomachs really quick. We'll go up here. You can kind of see it there.
That's cool.
So we got to go inside and it's full of exhibits. So we've really enjoyed that as part of our conferences here out in Kentucky, and so attending the Alliance and HSLDA leadership conferences has been really great for us.
Yes, absolutely. So encouraging and very, very insightful as well. Time well spent. So, but we have a few things we need to talk about. I know I just emailed that very soon in California, in our area, we may be seeing some school choice ballot initiatives.
Right.
And so we, I don't believe they're collecting signatures yet, but it is a little concerning for us here at CHEA. And I just want to start off by saying, I know how frustrated parents are with our public school system. And I know that times have been tough here with the pandemic and the shutdowns and everything. And so school choice initiatives are sounding pretty good right now. So we do have a reservation about it. And part of it kind of dovetails into right here being at the Ark Encounter.
It does.
Yeah. So you want to talk a little bit about that, Nathan?
Yeah. So being here at the Ark, the focus really is about teaching biblical truth and teaching that based on, especially with a focus on Genesis 1 through 11, talking about creation and the beginning of God's work here on earth, and just teaching about the entire world and all subjects really, but with a foundation on the Bible and on creation. And so looking at ballot initiatives, there are two that have been submitted to get petitions. With teaching biblical truth, that would be something that we'd be concerned wouldn't be an option or would be severely restricted under an education program that follows an ESA. So if we're seeing an ESA, education savings account, this is talking about government money for education. It would be a government-controlled education option, which we have other government-controlled education options in California, and this would add another option to that. But ultimately, the government control part that we're concerned about, because California does have a lot of restrictions on government education, and so seeing that money go to a school would be concerning to us, because we want to be able to have the freedom to teach biblical truth to students, and there are always strings that come with government funds. So that's our reservation about it.
Right. And right now, and we hope that this continues to be the case, private homeschooling by filing a private school affidavit or enrolling your children in a PSP is still the most free option for teaching your children at home. So and that's what we're here to promote and to protect.
That's right.
So
yeah.
Thank you for explaining that, Nathan.
Yeah.
So John, you've been following that Ninth Circuit court case, Brock versus Newsom. Is there an update on that?
That's right. Yeah, and just a quick recap. Brock versus Newsom, that was the case that we've talked about a couple of times, that was great news and is still great news for us, and really not just homeschooling parents, but parents who send their kids to private school, and just parents who care about having freedom in their home and for their kids and making decisions, educational decisions for their family and for their children. And that was a case where, if you remember, a group of public school parents of students going to public school and private school, parents had sued the governor and the state when they shut down in-person education last year during the pandemic. And the case went up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and it was heard by a 3-judge panel, which is typical. So smaller than a full panel of the judges in the Ninth Circuit. That's normally what happens. And that 3-judge panel gave an opinion that said Governor Newsom did have the authority to shut down public schools, but he did not have the authority to close private schools, to shut down in-person private instruction. And the court went on to really provide some powerful language and reasoning behind why and historically how they were finding that parents had even more freedom to choose private education. And they didn't specifically spell out homeschooling, but because that's how we fall here in California under the private school laws, it's easy to draw a correlation there. And so what has happened and what we anticipated happening, we got this great ruling against the governor, against the state. The governor has now requested that a full panel of Ninth Circuit judges review the 3-judge panel's decision. So those briefs and that request has now been made. And the attorneys for the students have opposed it. They've filed briefs opposing that, but we're waiting to see what the court is going to do. So I don't think it wouldn't be a stretch to find out in the coming weeks that the court has granted the government's request to have the full panel review it. But that in and of itself wouldn't be a death knell. It just would really be a recognition by the court that this is a big deal and worth the full panel looking at it. So it wouldn't overturn it. It would just mean that the full panel is going to look at it. But that's not a foregone conclusion yet either. So we'll keep monitoring it. The only thing that's changed now is the government, in losing, has done what we thought they would do, and the first step is asking for the full panel to review the decision.
So this was fully expected.
Yeah, it would have been a surprise, frankly, if they didn't do this.
I'm sorry.
So I had a question. So originally the decision from the Ninth Circuit was a 3-judge panel.
Right.
And if it does end up going to the full panel, how many? That's a bunch more than 3, right?
Well, yeah, it's 14 or 15 judges.
Okay. So good number. Big number. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks for that update. Maybe next month we'll have some more news.
Yep. Yeah, we'll keep looking at it.
Okay.
Thanks, Joan.
Yeah, thank you. And I think the last thing I really wanted to talk about was our research project that we're working on, CHEA, Family Protection Ministries, NHERI, National Home Education Research Institute, as well as Bob Jones University Press Testing and Evaluation. But
mouthful there.
It is a mouthful. But our first testing norms have ended. All of the students' test scores through the Bob Jones University Press portal have been compiled and reported on. So thank you to everybody who participated in that, who had your children participate in the testing. We really, really appreciate it. So the next step is we are still collecting the survey data. So if your children tested and you haven't completed the survey yet, the research survey, we need you to go in and do that. And actually, it's better, the quicker you do it, the better, and especially if you haven't looked at your children's test scores yet. But you'll have the option to say, yes, I've seen their test scores, or no, I have not. So that's the next step. And then we can package everything up in a nice, neat bundle, and we can turn it into the researchers. And Lord willing, within a couple of months, we'll have a piece of research that you can take to our legislators at the beginning of the next legislative session.
That's right. That's right. And we're really looking forward to having that. So definitely please get those get those surveys turned in, and we'll be moving on to the next steps really soon here.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And we have started taking tests or reservation for tests for the next norm, actually the next 2 norms. So you can go ahead and register if you didn't get in on this last one, or even if you did, but you would like to have another set of test scores this year, then you can go ahead and do that. And if you did have your students tested, but you didn't utilize our portal through Bob Jones University Press, you can submit your scores still on our website through another link on the website. And that's wonderful because it'll be great to have a couple of different groups coming our way and we can compare those. But, you know, here in California, standardized testing is not required by law for private school students. And we do consider that to be a great freedom here. But then there's the flip side of that coin, is that when you visit our legislators, what do they want from you?
Test scores.
Yes, right.
Yep.
So we're asking you, we're calling on those of you who haven't tested yet, and maybe you've been considering it. Please do participate. So, and I was in a conversation recently with several families who had were either homeschool alumni or homeschool parents, and talked about their memories from test day. And you were saying it was the highlight of your children's school year. Is that correct?
Yeah, my kids love test day because it's a special day. They get to be with certain friends and have special snacks and things like that. But they really like it. So it can be certainly a highlight for some kids. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so be thinking about that. We hope that you'll join us because this is another way that we can protect our homeschool freedoms. I don't suspect that we'll see anything different in California than we've seen in years past, that homeschool children score better than their public school counterparts, but we're going to wait and see. The jury's out on that.
Right. And I think this is something that we're not expecting to see homeschoolers not do well academically. We think that that's generally accepted, that homeschoolers do pretty well academically. But one of the questions we get a lot is there's no current data. And so that's one of the big reasons that's pushing us to really try to get people engaged on this, is that the legislature is looking for current data. And so we're hoping to not just do this year, but in future years as well. And we think we've come up with a great way for you to engage with us on doing that. So thank you for your participation.
Right. Thank you, everybody. We look forward to seeing what comes early next year. So, well, that's it. That's it for us from the Ark Encounter.
Yep.
And John, from your office.
I wish I was at the Ark Encounter. I know, that looks really nice. It looks like a beautiful day. It looks really nice.
It is a beautiful day. We wish you were here. And so hopefully, Lord willing, sometime again in the future, we can all come back. We had a large group from California.
That's right. We did. About 18 people came from California to the
that's great.
So we're really excited.
Yeah.
Great.
Very good.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're signing off now. Thank you, everybody. God bless. And we'll see you again next month.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.